discussion about the topic Future of Jobs. The world of work is quickly changing in every aspect. This session will be a close watch of the current job trends and possibly will forecast the directions of the employment market. We have 4 panel members for the session, and firstly I invite Ms. Smitha Kumaran. She's a Learner Success Lead, Nasscom, and Smitha has more than 26 years of experience in the IT industry across delivery, sales, competency building, open source. She was also instrumental in setting up a gig workforce within a large IT service and consulting organization. I welcome you, ma'am, to the panel session.
Mr. Richard Antony, in the Operation Director, EY. Richard is the India Location Leader, EY Global Delivery Services, GDS. In this role, Richard, known as Richie, is responsible for driving the India Operation Strategy and Operation Transformation Initiative across EY GDS. I welcome you, sir, Mr. Richard Antony.
Our next panel member is Dr. Saji Gopinath. He is the Vice President Digital University, and Dr. Saji Gopinath is the first Vice-chancellor of the newly formed Kerala University of Digital Science, Innovation and Technology. Before assuming this position in 2000, he served as Chief Executive Officer of Kerala Startup Mission for 3 years and also worked as the Director of Indian Institute of Information and Management. Dr. Gopinath was associated with the Indian Institute of Management for over 17 years. And it's a privilege to welcome you to this panel discussion, sir. He will be joining with us virtually, so we can connect him online.
And I welcome Mr. C.M. Varughese, CEO of Evergreen Technologies. Mr. C.M. Varughese is an electrical engineer, an IT coordinator and MBA, had over 40 years of experience in power electronics field. He worked with Kelton Power Electronics Division for 17 years, from training engineer to manager engineering, and was instrumental in developing 500 kVA UPS in the 90s. Worked with Schneider Electric as LA Design Manager for 5 years and was instrumental in designing Motor Control Center for Aramco in IC standard. Founder Managing Director for ICTAK Industrial Electronics Private Limited, and built up ICTAK from scratch to a non-power electronics company of South India 2001 to 2015 with a turnover of 15 crore. And I welcome you, sir.
And the moderator for this session is Mr. Sreekumar K.V. He is the Head Retail Operations Unit of ICT Academy of Kerala. Sreekumar has over 20 years of experience in the education and ITS industry and 8 years in ICT Academy. He is pursuing as Head of Retails and Corporate Department at ICT Academy of Kerala. Welcome you, sir, and over to you.
Good afternoon all. Once again, I welcome our panel members as well as the delegates to this session. This is our third panel discussion. Actually, morning onwards, we are hearing a lot of new technologies which is going to emerge in coming days from the technology experts. This is a continuation of the discussion that actually, after actually understanding there is a lot of technologies which are going to change in the coming days. What's the job opportunities actually available for the students community who are actually more interested actually? Even though we would like to know the technology also, what is the output I will get out of learning the technology? That is actually most of the students are actually interested. So this specific panel discussion, the panel discussion 3 is actually focusing on what are the future job opportunities are available for the students. So the morning, lot of experts discussing about the technology. Now we have the leaders from the industry as well as from the academia to share their thoughts as well as knowledge about the future jobs and how to actually make ourselves ready for the future jobs. So the entire discussion is actually going to span on the two space. The first space actually I would like to hear from not myself alone, actually the students also would like to hear from the expert. What are the future job opportunities available for them considering the current situation. Okay, so we will start with Saji sir.
Good afternoon, eminent panelists and participants. At the outset, my apologies for not being physically there for this very exciting moment, and thank you for inviting me for this panel discussion. So I'll be very brief because I know that there are experts from the industry who will be speaking more on the topic, the important topic which is being posed to us. So when you look at the future of jobs, I think we need to divide into two parts. We know that we are at a time where the digital is coming in a big way. Almost every sector digital is actually transforming. So we have heard this, the previous speaker in the LinkedIn when he was presenting, he was actually discussing about the type of technologies coming into the IT space and the type of changes happening over there. So I think there are two aspects we need to look at. One aspect is that there are a set of digital technologies, be it in the cloud, be it in the data space, be it in the AI space, etc., which I'm sure this discussion will have in more detail and maybe you already discussed. But I believe along with that, we need to also look at how digital is transforming the conventional sectors. And that actually is going to give you a large number of newer job opportunities. Because when you speak about technology, we always think only about technology jobs. But I'm sure that there are people sitting here from different streams of engineering and different streams of arts and sciences, commerce, etc. So there is a digital layer going to be on the top of it. So tomorrow's civil engineers are actually the ones who are going to work in building management systems. Tomorrow's electrical engineers are the ones who are going to work with digital power systems. You will have the digital art or digital journalism, even technologies in sectors which conventionally was not using technology, digital sectors, etc. All these areas, digital is actually coming into a big deal. So we really require functional experts who understand the functional knowledge. At the same time, they also know how the digital is going to transform. So this is a large number of opportunities. And if you look at the past, we have seen the same thing happening when internet technologies came. We have seen that's happening when earlier technologies also came. So there is a big space which is generally not being discussed, where the digital transformation is actually going to create newer job opportunities per se. And the second aspect is that the nature of jobs. The nature of jobs also is changing. There are two or three major trends which is happening, and that is very visible now. One is that we conventionally believe that jobs happen only when you go to a company. Like this is what happening at least in the industrial era, where all the jobs are getting concentrated on centralized large organizations. Now that is moved. That's moved out, and you start looking at freelancing. You are looking at remote jobs. You may be a part of an organization, but you may be working remote. You may not be part of an organization, but you may be working in multiple organizations on a freelance type of work. So there is a gig work which is actually evolving in a very big way, in an exponential fashion. There is also newer areas of entrepreneurship which is happening. So for example, we know that today, especially people who have got creative skills can actually use newer entrepreneurship opportunities leveraging on the newer technologies also. So that's the third level which we need to look at. There are also nano enterprises and micro entrepreneurs which are coming in, which may use public channels like maybe YouTube or maybe some other means actually to develop products and deliver. So there is a newer channel which is actually happening. So that's the second aspect I think we need to look at. So when you are this all will have its own ramifications on the learning process, because we have conventionally learned under an assumption that when you go out of a college, there will be a company who is going to take care of you. They will actually train you in the skills, and then you will be able to be employable. So that we need to look at people who have to come out with their own skills, be it by themselves when they are sitting there, or when they are joining an organization. You expect almost a day of skills from the people. So the combination of skills and knowledge being the part of the education system is going to be the big challenge. And once you have that, I think there is big changes which is happening, and big trends are happening. Even in the digital technology space also, there are incremental technologies like the cloud or AI, which conventionally people will believe that is huge, but they basically make the existing thing accelerate in a much faster manner. But there are transformative technologies. like blockchain, for example, completely redefined the way the organizations and the businesses will get done. So all those areas are also going to provide great opportunities in the days to come. And along with that, the nature of changes are going to be the one I believe is the key trends which is going to happen in the days to come.
Thank you, Dr. Saji. So the important thing is actually the gig economy is actually emerging as one of the new way of working styles globally. And also the digital transformation is irrespective of actually it's not only sticking to the information technology domain, it's going to actually combine all the other domains like mechanical, civil and electrical, whichever domain you are belongs to. The technology is actually a baseline which you need to understand to actually survey in the future. That is the two major the job opportunities actually mentioned by Saji sir. Then we move to Smitha. Smitha is actually with Nasscom. Actually, Nasscom is working more than 3,000 IT companies in Kerala. Most of people actually are aware that actually Nasscom is one of the consortium very closely working with the IT industry. So, Smitha, from your perspective, what are actually the future jobs which actually we are looking for the coming days?
Okay, I think Sir covered the types of jobs that are coming in. So I was wondering what am I going to speak. So I represent initiative by Ministry of Electronics and IT and executed by Nasscom, a program which is trying to make India the digital talent hub for the future. So the idea is there are a lot of emerging skills that are there. We all know that we'll have to learn them. How do you approach that learning, and how do you decide that, I mean, that journey from degrees to skills, right? How do you take that journey where you say that if you're skilled in certain technology, how do you really know that you're skilled on it? So that's the initiative that I'm part of. So one thing to add to what Sir was telling, there are different skills that will come into play. The jobs of today, at least 50% of them. He was talking about 15 years back there was no job called data scientist. I think in 2-3 years we will tell that okay, this job didn't exist 3 years back, right? So that window is closing. In 2-3 years you will find new jobs that are coming. So 3 types of job changes that will happen. One is the conventional ones will continue, definitely. At least for another 10-15 years we will have regular Java development or automation testing, all those kind of things will be there. But the way you do it might change. Like today there is a developer, he has to or she has to start from somewhere. You will actually be developing on top of what the GitHub Copilot gave you, right? So that might change. So that is definitely a change. Second is we know that there are emergence of certain types of role that are there. Those will improve. I mean, those will go, let's say, another 30%. Now, another 30% of the jobs will be jobs that we don't know today exist. And why does it happen? Because of what Sir was talking about, digital immersion into other core areas. Right? So, we talk about mammogram is a very intrusive process and it's a painful process. But there is a digital company that is actually making it a no-touch process. How does it happen? When doctors understand digital technology. So as part of this particular initiative, we are working with Apollo hospitals trying to teach the nurses and doctors digital awareness. Working with Maruti to get their employees understand what AI can do for them. Right? So these kind of things will bring new jobs into the market also. So what is it that you can do? You have to learn the ones that are currently, definitely you are going to get a job. Definitely there are some jobs which are advertised as this will lead you to a so many LPA job, right? So that is one thing. But beyond that, it is about learning something else, but adding it on top of what you already know. And whoever is able to fuse 2 skills together, I think those are the types of job that will emerge.
Thank you, Smitha. Actually, Smitha has mentioned conventional technology having its demand. So I'm remembering actually 25 years back when I completed my post-graduation, my project is on Java. Still actually Java having a huge demand. So after 25 years also, even though we are talking about the technology is actually changing day by day, it is rapidly changing. still some technology having the relevance and demand for a quite long period. So conventional things will continue for some more days also along with the future technologies. As rightly mentioned, we don't know actually, LinkedIn also expert mentioned that we don't know actually what is the technology going to expect after 4-5 years, because that time only we will experience actually this is the technologies actually going to come for the next 10 years. So now we can able to predict what is the technology going to have rule the world for after 5 years. We can predict up to maybe 20 or 30%, but still actually more than likely 40-50% technology we couldn't able to predict. So that way convention, the languages or technologies still having a major role. Additionally, there is a lot of future technologies which is going to give a huge opening for our students community. So we are moving to Richie. Actually, Richie is very familiar face in Kerala. Most of the people may know actually he is heading the India operation in EYGDS, and they are actually doing a lot of initiative for the students community. And they are very closely working in a lot of colleges in Kerala, not only in Kerala, in southern districts of India, including Tamil Nadu, Andhra and other places. And, so I would like to know from him, from EY point of view, from EY structure actually, what are the new active projects you may actually do in EY after 2-3 years, that actually which may give a good job opportunity for our students?
Sure. So thank you. I will compliment from where my eminent speakers have talked about the journey. I think one of the realizations that came very strongly to the industry is when we went through this pandemic, right? So when we went through this pandemic, a lot of conventional jobs, the type of jobs that the industry was doing, the methods that were used in the industry had to be significantly changed, and a lot of industry organizations quickly moved, and the whole pandemic has accelerated the adoption of digitization and automation into the way we work. So as an industry, and I can speak for the industry, is as we look at the skills that are needed for the future, it is very important to understand that our education system that we have gives us the academic skills that is required. There is definitely a gap between the academics and the industry, and that's where organizations like ICT play a very strong role in preparing the candidates or the suitable candidates for their next stint in a corporate. When I look at the type of jobs that are there, so traditionally, if you look at our core services in audit, right? So where 20 years back, a decade back, there used to be a lot of activities in audit that required a physical presence. Right? You need to go to client sites, you need to do inventory management. A lot of these things have now disappeared. The reason that the jobs have not disappeared, the jobs have transformed. The type of skills that are required are no longer physical. A lot of it is digital. You can take the example of Amazon, right? It is the largest logistics management company that is existing. The type of inventory management that they do is using drones. So the people who are managing inventory are required to know technology, even to do the traditional or conventional jobs like inventory management. When we look at how the industry is trading now or trending now, is that it has moved more into creative needs, right? So the candidates that we have need to be creative. And when we talk to our HR partners, a lot of these are retrofitting, which means that the existing employees that are there in the organizations have to continuously retrofit themselves. And retrofitting means you've got to add new skills to your existing skills. When you look at the other way, the second concept is blending, which means that I have principal skills, I need to do jobs differently, and I need to create new specialities in myself when we look at how we will do that same conventional job in a different way. And last but not the least, problem solving. right? So as candidates, as future employers, we definitely look for candidates who are curious, who are trying to be creative, know the problem, and try to imagine what could the solution be. So these are some of the areas that we look at. But as Smitha rightly said, the job landscape, and like Sri said, if it's Java, it will continue to be Java for some time till you use or something else over or supersedes it. But will it mean that I can use Java in the way I used to use 5 years before? Most probably not. I will still use Java, but I will use it in a differential context. Now, when we talk about AI, and we look at AI into programming, we look at AI into solutioning, I'll just put a curious thought in your mind. We will most probably in future have an AI ethics profile in a job, which means that you will have to have skills from philosophy, ethics, and then technology, right? So there are many jobs that will continue to evolve. We talked about self-driving cars, right? That a lot of things are happening. What is going to happen in the future? We need candidates who are thinking of, can I be a self-driving car mechanic? It doesn't mean that I am a brick and mortar engineer who does mechanical, but you should be able to use programming, use data management, and use all these skills in the current in the future areas that you have done. Now, in EY, as we will look at it, we look at developing people, right? So the gap between industry and academia will continue to exist, and the gap is narrowing because the academia also has embraced what the industry needs, and there is a lot of partnership between them. Now, the one area that students, as yourself, need to focus on is it requires a lot of self-drive, right? So, what is that you are good at, you are willing to learn is something as a thing that we look as in a candidate when we look at whether the candidate can fit the profile. The subject matter experts may be there, right, or can be taught, but the will to learn, the attitude, the aptitude is becoming a lot more important in the future of jobs. So in summary, I would say the job market is changing. It will continue to change. Conventional skills will be required to be upgraded. The conventional skills will have to be retrofitted and transformed. And as job seekers, the first and foremost thing that you should be able to do is be able to learn and be able to adopt to the industry. Opportunities are there quite a lot, but opportunities are there for moving out of the conventional mindset to the transformative mindset that we have. So I'll start with that and pass it back to Sri.
Thank you, Richie. Thank you. Richie rightly mentioned actually, conventional jobs are actually going to exit, but actually it is not in the same form or shape actually. So there is a automation or actually artificial intelligence actually coming on top of it. So the basic knowledge maybe we are gaining, we need to upgrade on the regular basis. So when normally we will say actually maybe 30-40 years back when actually after completing a graduation we are starting a career, then we feel okay, after graduation, okay, my actually learning part is completed. Now I'm going to work for the next 20-30 years in the same domain. I'm not going to do any upskilling. But it is today the situation is not like that. Actually, lifelong we are learning. So when whatever you are learning, you need to actually continuously upskilling, and it may be actually in the form of automation or in the form of artificial intelligence in whatever way. That will actually give a lot of opportunity for our students in the future job spectrum. So we are moving to actually the next person, the interesting person who actually working on the green technology. Nowadays there is a lot of importance of started to give on green technology because we need to give a better world to our next generation people. So we need to save our the earth and the other environmental things. So Sasi is working on the green technology domain actually. He can able to give you actually the view to our students what are the opportunities may be available for the green technology as coming days, because it's given a more important not only from the industrial side, government side also. Government is also emphasizing long-term active green technology. That's why actually there are a lot of battery old vehicles are actually we are going to see in the roads in the future. Sir, over to you.
Good afternoon, Honorable. Let me just touch upon the success field energy, especially renewable energy. We all know energy is the driving force for the economy across the world. And per capita consumption of energy is considered as the development stick, the yardstick of development for growth everywhere. With India is having 700 million young population below 30 years old, who is going to control this country, they have to run the economy under clean energy or the green energy. Why clean energy now? We all are hearing, or we are all seeing, now we are all facing global warming every day. World across it is decided to combat global warming with a target date. In India, we are targeting the net zero energy time by 2070, or by 2070 there is no more carbon emission from energy resources. So by 2030, we have to reach a target of 500 GW or 500 gigawatt of green energy, whereas as of now we are having 163. So we have to triple it almost in next 8 years. So how this can be happen? There are two ways. One is carbon-free grid. The main supply is no more from the carbon like coal, gas, oil. Then fossil fuel-free transportation. The transportation is no more from the fossil fuel. It has to be from electric. So already targets are fixed. So by 2030, India has to reach 500 GW of non-fossil fuel energy, that is the renewable energy. And the EV sector, the target is to reach 30% of the private cars to be in the EV, 80% of the commercial vehicles to be in the EV, and 70% of two-wheeler, three-wheeler to be in the EV. So definitely it needs a lot of power, a lot of energy, and it's generates a lot of manpower also. As of now, in green energy, renewable energy, there is 1 lakh manpower is employed in India. But by 2030, this figure will become 1 million. In fact, it has been told 3.4 million jobs, which will be occupied by 1 million persons. Because one person will occupy multiple jobs. And electricity is under transition. The major consumption of energy was not from electricity earlier. Even now, in certain sectors, heat energy is moving to electricity because we are moving to renewable energy. So many type of energy forms will move to electricity through renewable energy. So what we can see is in the coming years, the electricity requirement will multiply many times, and accordingly this has to be coming from renewable energy. Means renewable energy is no more large power sources like coal powered or hydro. These are distributed energy sources, small power plants distributed across the country. I&E will be prosumers who will be generating power from my roof, so solar, and I will be pumping it to the grid. And you will be able to buy from anybody. I will be able to sell to anybody. So the private players are going to be more in this field. It's not far away. Already Electricity Act 2021 is already passed, with privatization included, and subsidy is coming down. So this area is going to be there. The discoms are no more going to be generators or transmitters or distributors. They are going to be the network providers. The private players will come to generate power, distribute it, transmit it. So accordingly, you can see, you will be able to buy power from anywhere, you will be able to sell power anywhere. So the employment generation by 2030 is going to be 1 million. by 2050 it is going to be 2 million. That is what is expected. So how to get our youngsters to that employment opportunity is, for the existing manpower we have to upskill them, and for the new pass out we have to skill them. There are many institutions under Government of India and NSDC providing these opportunities. We have to get through them and get certification course. More than that, we have to get experience. You know, the future requirement of employment is not through degrees and marks. It will be through skills. What do you know? Because the industries don't want to train you and get employed. You should come trained. You should come trained from the institute where you study. Right from the school days to college days. You see some time, you earmark some time for skilling and come to industry with that. So, with that, let me close now. Anything is more, we can say.
Thank you, sir. Now, the green energy. Maybe most of you people at the time of actually visiting the conference, you may saw actually a lot of parents, which is actually placed in front of this conference hall. So, as a Kerala is the first state actually, the airport is fully functioning based on the green energy using the solar power. So we always actually leading on the green energy trend. So sir actually really mentioned actually what are the future options, because actually the mobility is one of the major source to provide employability to the students actually, that is going to completely change from actually the mechanical to electrical. There actually green energy focus is going to happen, and it will provide a lot of job opportunity for our students. As the first phase, we discussed mostly on the future jobs actually. So, okay, now the second part is okay. I know what are the future jobs available in the industry for me. Then how I make myself equipped to actually get into the job. That is a practical next question, because whenever the college students are actually interacting with the industrial experts, there is a general term actually used actually. There is a industrial gap is there. So whenever they're completing the academics, they're actually very good at the academics, they're good at the knowledge, but actually the industry is actually looking for some skills. The skills they're actually like, that is generally most of the students are here. So I would like to hear from the leaders actually, the skilling front actually, what is the contribution actually, what is the activities they're doing to make our students to be employable in the future technology domain, because actually I know maybe green energy is the domain which is providing a lot of opportunity. Then how can I make myself employable through a skill to get into the green energy industry? That may be the next level of discussion we are planning to have. So again, we will start with Saji sir. So Saji sir is involved in a lot of government initiatives on the skilling and other things. Sir, can you brief us what are the skilling initiatives the government of Kerala as well as Digital University of UK also doing for the students community to actually make the career dream become realized through the skilling process?
Okay, I would like to define or look at skill in a little bit larger macro perspective, and then especially to look at the initiatives from the government of Kerala side. So we know that our Honorable Prime Minister has given us a challenge, and that in next 25 years India has to become a developed country, and I'm sure that most of the young students sitting there, that is their career time also. Most of you will have your most productive career in the next 25 years. So what is this developed country translating? From a 2.7 trillion economy, we need to translate ourselves into something around a 30-35 trillion economy, which primarily means that India has to grow every year at least around 12 to 14%. So that is the big challenge in front of us. But at the same time, that is also a big opportunity. Now that means that if you really want to grow in this manner, we have to look at it two levels. One level is that you really require newer set of industries, which are knowledge-intensive industries. You see, Mr. George was speaking about the EV revolution and sustainable industry coming into place. So you really require people to do deeper research in battery technologies. You really require people to start looking at non-silicon based solar cells. So you really require one set of high-end knowledge jobs knowledge industries who are going to come into the country. And that is already the trend service. So Government of Kerala has actually looked at this as a very important element, and Government of also has declared that Kerala will move into a knowledge economy by looking at redefining the knowledge generation space, that is the academic institutions, universities, etc. So one end of that is creating high-end knowledge skills, high-end knowledge application thing, which includes large number of postdoctoral fellowships, around 500 of them, maybe biggest in the country, having centers of excellence which are focusing on newer end of technologies. And in various domains, you have science parks, digital science parks, medical universities, science parks, and others. So this is primarily one area which is going to create new end of skills. That's not what we generally meant as skills. When we generally meant as skills, we are thinking about something which meets the needs of the existing industry. These are something which is going to create the next set of industries, because India is growing, India is maturing, so newer type of industries will come. Just like how the space industry has come into the country, like that. So this is one side that a large number of actions are happening at the level of the universities to redefine themselves as somebody who create knowledge workers, knowledge producers, etc. The second side, where the numbers may be much larger, is primarily what we conventionally call as the skilling spaces, where you are looking at the newer technologies, the digital transformation technologies, the non-digital technologies which are also in the offering, etc. That's basically where the skilling agencies are actually in big way. There is something called, and we believe that some of you must have heard that Kerala government's announcement that we would like to have around 2 million people getting employed in the next 5 years in knowledge jobs. So when you wanted to look at 2 million people to get knowledge jobs meaningfully, it is important that much more number of people have to be skilled and trained. And our existing skill bandwidth is much smaller. Maybe we could train around 100, maybe 5 lakh people or something like that. And we are looking at something target of around 30 lakhs. So 30 lakh people to be trained. So that is basically where the government has come out with a platform where ICT Academy plays a very important role, where we are looking at how do we integrate the various skill providers across the world to come into a single platform where a student can actually pick and choose depending upon where he wanted to get into his career to go. And that platform is already on, and various skill providers are coming, and the job providers are also coming. So that is the second element in which we are trying to create a massive skilling. The third element, which is also equally important, is that in our colleges, as which he has rightly pointed out, we are actually focusing on the knowledge, and there are gaps existing on that. It's time that we need to actually start looking at how do we make our colleges, institutions, both knowledge and skills. Because the way we define conventionally skills gives you day employment, but knowledge gives you lifelong growth. So if you really wanted to combine both, you need to have a lifelong growth as well as you wanted to make sure that you are relevant for the industry day one. The day you come out of the colleges itself, you really wanted to make sure that you are employable. And there, the government is actually working with colleges through ASAP, through ICT Academy, plus we are also looking at how the engineering college teachers, I'm sure that many of you sitting there are from engineering college teachers and other college teachers, can there be an industry immersion program where industry itself will provide a platform where the teachers actually get trained in the skills, so they can impart, train the students so that they become day one employable along with right knowledge abilities. So these are some of the attempts which we've done. There is a very detailed strategy road for the Kerala knowledge economy has been prepared, and which actually detail out how an ecosystem for skilling and knowledge development can actually be developed in the state in the next 2 to 3 years time. And I believe that once we implement that, we will be able to really achieve the type of targets which the government of and India is looking forward, making people meaningfully employed in the right jobs in the days to come in various sectors.
Thank you, sir. So, a couple of things. One is actually, sir talked about the research actually. So, already the panel members have discussed. The new technology which is going to emerge in the future, it will need to be made affordable to everybody, then only it may be a sustainable technology. So there is a lot of research are needed. The best example is Varughese on the green energy. One of the big challenges why actually we couldn't able to afford the EV cell, because of it is as like India, we couldn't be able to afford the cost of the vehicles, because only one reason actually I hope Varughese maybe explain it in a deeper manner. The maximum cost is actually going to the batteries. So maybe if you take the electrical vehicle, it may be using 5-6 batteries or something like that, each battery costing 1.5 lakhs. So the maximum cost is going to battery, because there is a monopoly is happening in the battery manufacturing. There is not much research is happening inside India. So we are depending on some external people to buy it and use it. So that makes actually the product is not affordable for us. So the research is one of the area the students can actually involve and make actually the product is affordable to everybody. It will actually make the sustainable technology development in future. So we move to Smitha. Actually, as I mentioned, Nasscom is actually doing a lot of skilling initiatives. They are working very closely with the industry and the academia. They are actually connecting point actually not only in Kerala, in pan India. So Smitha, actually, how actually the future skills are actually the skills engagement you are actually doing with the students community, and how actually you supporting them? Can you explain briefly whether our students can know about the opportunity and try to utilize the opportunities at the earliest?
Thank you. So I'll talk about what Central Ministry is doing through this program. So one of the things is we are trying to standardize the job skills. Right? When you talk about data analyst, somebody who does Excel analysis calls themselves a data analyst. Somebody who does large amount of data using, let's say, Python, Power BI, they also call themselves data analyst. And the ones who are actually creating models out of it, they are also calling themselves data analysts. Right? So what is data analysis? So we are trying to standardize these skills. And how are we doing it? With industry subject matter experts coming together, debating on a particular skill. What is it? What are the performance criteria for somebody to be called as skilled in this job? That's one of the things. As part of Sector Skilling Council, Nasscom is doing. Second thing is we are also getting all the courses that are happening in India and also globally aligned to these skills, so that you come to the Future Skills platform, you actually see there is a skill and which are all the content providers or training providers who are offering the skill. So there is you can pick and choose based on what kind of training. Are you a person who can do self-paced training, or you need instructor-led? Are you okay with a virtual instructor? So you have the option to pick and choose types of skilling options that are available. The third thing is government is actually incentivizing these learning. So if you are taking a particular paid course, and there are free courses and paid courses available, if you are taking a paid course and completing the certification successfully, up to 50% of the course fee, depending on certain limits, at least for 14,000 rupees per Indian citizen, the government is willing to refund it back to you. It will come to your bank account using direct benefit transfer. So this Future Skill Prime is a B2C platform available to all Indian citizens, geo-fenced, futureskillsprime.in. You can go and register yourself and look at the courses that are available and then take it up. Another thing is, especially for, we work in two areas. One is with governments and academic institutions or universities, trying to get some of these courses into their academic system itself, so that it becomes part of their curriculum. The second is we work with B2C as working professionals, and also with companies to help their employees reskill. In both these cases, there is a doubt that people have as to, okay, where do I go to? I see a lot of fancy technologies that are there. Do I get into data science? Do I get into cyber security? Or do I get into transformative technologies like Saji sir was talking about, blockchain? Right? How does one decide? So there is a competency diagnostics available in the platform, where which will guide you to whatever, I mean, it will show you a mirror on your analytical skills, where are you standing today, so that if you want to take a career in this, what is the path you can do. So those are three major things that are being done by Nasscom.
Thank you. So one of the important point is, as you know, there is a number of actually learning contents are available as we are actually living in the digital world. So we will get actually the knowledge actually everywhere. There is no difficulty to get knowledge, but actually the difficulty is getting the right knowledge. So that is, Smitha mentioned, government is actually structuring the skills based on the roles they are going to play that actually may help the students to achieve a specific career. Instead of, as I think actually, I would like to be a data scientist, instead of doing a skilling course which is actually not relevant to the present industrial demand. So avoiding that, actually the government is already put in place a structure so that helping the students to actually rightly choose a course and actually start their career. I'm going to Richie. As I mentioned, UI is actually engaging with a lot of students' activities, actually doing a lot of actually the social impact programs actually. So how actually UI's contribution, or what is UI's advice to the students and the skilling side actually, how they will actually make themselves to skill on the future technologies?
I would just start with saying, if you've read the recent financial forecast, all the industry gurus and financial gurus are saying that this is the decade for India, right? So India is at such a high point today in the world that the financial investors as well as the industry is calling that this is the decade for India. So definitely, from an opportunity standpoint, there is opportunity for everybody, and we are in a constant talent war as we speak, right? So demand versus supply, the demand is very high, the supply needs to match the demand, and that's why we are currently in this entire talent war where supply has to be lifted up. As EY, we believe in three things. One is in campus, second is off campus, and third is in corporates. So if you look at in campus, the industry and the agencies, like Smitha said, Nasscom having programs, ICT having programs, there are a lot of in-campus activities that are to be driven, which are through incubators, and for which Dr. Saji sir said the same thing, right? The professors, the faculty has to be upgraded. So EY concentrates working with the partners on transferring some of the industry knowledge, educating the faculty on upgrading their skills, or providing industry viewpoints on how they need to transform themselves for their students. And this is through either inviting these faculties to the corporate environment, showing them what's out there. So last, I think 2 months back, we had a program where 30 of the top academic parties from the academic people from the who are focused on the rural area worked with us on a design thinking workshop. And this was for our rural area in Attapadi, where we have a very strong focus on uplifting the skills of the students. It started with the faculty themselves. So the faculty had to be, come together and see what and how should they use the various technology elements to uplift and make learning interesting in campus. The second part is off campus, and agencies like ICT Academy works brilliantly for us, where we say we work with agencies to create an industry curriculum. So whether it's AI, blockchain, and whether it's skills like creative designs, or uplifting or upgrading the skills in many of these technologies, we work with ICT Academy to develop a curriculum. Like Saji sir said, this is also the time where the 9 to 5 job doesn't work, right? And you have different type of contracts. You have a full-time job. You also can be a gig worker where you're working part-time into companies. And the third is you can be entrepreneurs. So all the three elements are available today in the ecosystem. So EY works with agencies to develop the curriculum, and agencies transfer this curriculum to the students. The third is incorporate, which means that yesterday we had around 30 to 40 students, and some of them might be here. We had a corporate immersion session in Metaverse itself, right, where we gave them not only the general orientation of what Metaverse is and how we use it in corporate, we also gave them a hands-on experience into developing their own worlds within the 4 hours that they were there in our campus. So those are some of the areas that we focus on, and our commitment to the Kerala state as well as the governance in the state is that we will continue to enhance the skills, and some of the skills definitely will work with us in our corporate, but a larger benefit into the ecosystem in uplifting the skills of the student communities, the students who have passed campus and looking for a job, or students who are willing to work in a gig mode where they would like to take charge of their own career and job and earn revenue through specific jobs that they get paid for on the gig platform. All of these today is available. It is up to the students to tap onto it, and overall it will continue to improve in the coming days, is what I feel.
Thank you, Ruchi. So we are going to Varughese sir actually. Varughese sir, what would like to share with our students who would like to get into the green energy industry? How actually they will make themselves actually skilled on this specific domain? Yes.
So skilling is to be done through hands-on training in this energy area. There are areas where you can do some kind of digital through software, everything is there. But unless otherwise, you do it hands-on, you won't get exposed. The software is basically used to improve upon the hardware, isn't it? Or increase the productivity of hardware. So the first and foremost thing is get trained in the hardware. And I am sure our younger generation students are really good. They can catch up new technology, they can do it. What we need is to force upon the teaching community to get trained to guide the students. In my personal opinion, I would say certain percentage of the teaching faculty must be from industry, unless otherwise we are never going to improve upon the industry academy interaction. It will be in the paper, but it will not be in action. That is what I feel. Technically, I feel.
Thank you. So we are quickly moving to a Q&A session. I hope actually the audience the students may have some queries to ask with the panel members.
And one more point I will add. In fact, I have been in industry for last 43 years as an employee, an employer, and a trainer. And what I observed is we are passing out raw students, most of them, just because they are not skilled enough. So now opportunities are good enough. If you have opportunities, you have a will for that, there is opportunities. For example, I myself is working in renewable energy, which is solar power plants, supply installation, commissioning of the same, electric vehicle charging station installation, commissioning of same. Now also we have an institute where we are just accredited to NSDC for our solar power systems. So like that, there are many in the state. If you are coming forward, there is opportunities.
Any questions?
Yeah, good afternoon. Manoj from ICT Academy. Saji is on the other side. Maybe he may be knowing him, along with Richard sir is also there. So when we talk about technology, even jobs and technology, and it's changing every year. It's changing. Maybe after 5 years, 10 years down the line, we don't know where we stand and what type of jobs will be coming in. But at the same time, maybe engineering colleges to an extent is understanding it, and they are moving in tune with that. But at the same time, when you talk about the other sessions of society, even students like arts and science colleges or other courses, they are not much involved in that. And even they are also a pool of students which may come after a couple of years or even 5 years down the line, and they want to get jobs. And even one thing what I understood is like technology is on the top of everything, but at the same time, these students are not getting any ingredients of or even elements of technology. So how this outputs will be included in the industries as in different jobs as they come out of different colleges.
So if I understand correctly, your question is about if engineering students come out, what about the career option for arts and science? Is that what your question is?
Yeah, for engineering students, as I said, as we all said, like there are a lot of changes happening in the curriculum, and even new technology things are coming there, and they are learning it. But when you talk about the other side, even one statement we heard today is like technology should be there everywhere. So when you take the other subjects, how they come across this, there the curriculum is not changing, right? The industry interactions or industry collaborations is very limited, right? Comparing with engineering colleges. And these people should also have a job after their courses, right? And all the traditional conventional jobs are moving out. So how will you address this?
So you got the right point. Actually, it's not about a stream anymore. In our industry, we have people from BCom, BA working on jobs that require skills to be developed in the technology area. While their primary skills is in the area of, say, for example, a person who's done BA, right, and he's coming into the industry, he or she can go into learning, development, and any other activity. But when the industry adopts that, it is very important for the person to also know the technology advancements in that particular domain, and we call that EdTech, right? So the gap definitely is there today. There has been an industry focus, or the focus out there is saying engineering colleges where we should all target, but that is fast changing. Today we are going even to polytechnics. Today we are going to arts and science colleges for hiring people in areas that they have never worked before. The industry has got a lot of sub-domains, as I would say, that need skill in all frames of education. And that's what what we are trying to do is work with other agencies that tap into non-engineering streams and use the same concept of in-campus, off-campus, and incorporate and bring them to the mainstream. The focus has been less in the past, but I would say it is catching up rapidly, and we see a lot of interest from arts and science colleges to work in the domains that we operate today.
Can I add to that?
Yes.
Manoj asked a very third question, because if you look at around 7 lakh students, hardly around 50,000 must be from engineering stream. So you have a much larger coming from other areas. So when this university, where I represent, Digital University, has formed, it was primarily formed to help people from non-engineering streams to do this digital transformation. So in almost all our courses, other than MTech courses, because that is mandated by the ICT, we actually admit students from all other disciplines, because we believe that a person who is great in geography can actually use technology. If he has technology, he will do a great geospatial analysis. So such options are available there, and the program which ICT and Digital University jointly doing in blockchain again is a space where we are looking at students from multiple domains. But over the period, like Smitha said about industry, even institutions also have to start looking at people from multiple domains and help them to develop their digital skills so that they transition very fast into the digital economy first. And we are doing a little bit of that, and this university was primarily with that objective.
Thank you, sir.
Shri, just a point. Shri, here. I don't want to add to that. So in some of the arts and science colleges, there is a new field called digital humanities. So things are becoming hotter there also, and the fusion of this, right? That's multiple skill combining. That's where the secret lies, I think. So there are traditional jobs that you can see it as transforming into digital realm, but there are things like I think Saji sir was talking about AI ethics, right? So that is a field where people from humanities will come in, philosophy, even any of those fields. I don't think there is any domain that will remain untouched by a digital transformation. So yeah, governments are in fact working with arts and science colleges and making it mandatory for them to have a digital awareness course at least. And if they are interested, they can pursue further.
Thank you. Any other colleagues? Yeah, please.
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
There's a very peculiar phenomenon that's happening in India now post-COVID, moonlighting. Somebody working for more than one employer. Now, I would like to know your stance on that, and this question is specifically to Richard and Smitha. One person represents a corporate and the other person represents an industry. So I would like to know your viewpoints on this. Recently I was at a conference where Rishabh Premji was one of the speakers, and he had recently drawn a lot of flack on social media for taking a stance against moonlighting, and later he had to clarify his stance. So that's also a context for my question. What's your stance on moonlighting? I know it's tricky.
There are areas where moonlighting is possible and feasible, but there are many areas it is not possible also. For example, one working for a company and he is handling several confidential documents or knowledge. He works for other company, naturally that can get automatically or partially transferred, which nobody will accept because these data are really worth millions. So that is not acceptable. But there are areas where, for example, consultant's job. The consultancy is in a consulting company, similar kinds of jobs are created for many people. So he can do it. And even for, I can tell you, people like organizations are having electricians, plumbers, all these things. If they like to fill with jobs, they have to do for many companies. So there are areas it is possible, but there are areas not possible. Not be allowed, in fact not possible, not be allowed.
I would just say my personal view. This is a topic that is in the industry quite debated upon. And the word term recently came out with Sugi coming and talking about one of the industry partners coming and talking about moonlighting. So my personal view is it's now in the topic of discussion because of the talent war that's happening, right? If my demand versus supply was equitable or my supply was more than the demand, I don't think anybody can work 3 jobs, right? If I have adequate supply, and this is just a phase that is happening in the industry today because of the talent war, and I feel it will disappear as soon as it has come. But I agree with sir to say that there is a code of ethics when you work with a company and the company employs you, right? So my personal view is if moonlighting should be allowed, then I should be able to pay the person 1/3 of the salary, which means equitable portion should be able to be coming from all, right? And that exactly is gig working. So gig working is exactly that concept where I don't have to be part of a corporate. I am not employed by a corporate. I am given the flexibility to work on different assignments that are out there that I can bid for, take, apply my skills and all. Right? So I would just say that moonlighting term will go away, gig working will stay, and that's already an accepted practice in the world today. Right? But it takes away your umbrella of I have a full time job of 9 to 5 with one person, and then I slice that time 9 to 2 with somebody else and 2 to 5 2 to 4 with somebody else, and 5 to 9 with somebody else, right? So that's exactly gig working. So gig working will overtake that, and the more the industry adopts to gig working and the talent war is stabilized, I don't think that's a phenomena that will stick long.
Thank you.
My
As we
personal-
are running out of time, we'll take last question, then we'll.
Yeah, myself, Robin. Hearing to the wonderful panel discussion and also a few questions that was asked from the perspective of the abled society. So as of now, Richard sir was talking about gig working as well as moonlighting. There is a huge society back there, the disabled society or the PWDs we call them, Divyangan, or the atypical society. So we don't see much of training happening or skilling happening for them, even though there are few very, I would say, siloed skilling initiatives. But what do you think from the perspective of Nasscom or larger industry support that can be given to these atypical society? Because not even 1% of the disabled or the differently abled or the atypical society is employed. There's a huge potential there. Now we can see that there are people who are working on, one person working on more than 3 jobs. So there is a demand, there is a huge supply there, but some problem is there in between this. Now, can you elaborate what is that and how can we solve this problem?
I didn't quite get the question because it was a lot.
Okay, my question is, I'm talking about the neurodivergent society, for example, autism, cerebral palsy. Again, EY is already working on it. I know many of the interventions are happening. But since I've been working in this area for the last 10 years, so how is it we can bring in an ecosystem for them? Because there's a huge gap. Not even 1%, it's not like 0.08% of them are employed. So it's not even 1%. But you have a huge potential, talent.
Sure. And I take that because this is, you must have read through that EY already has a global program on neurodivergent workforce. We've already taken initiative in Kerala to work with neurodivergent workers, and we have a couple of them we started with Kedar and Vijay sir to actually have that. It is, and I'm saying we are happy that we have started that trend in Kerala to push that boundary. We are fairly successful and happy with the skills that we have because, as you rightly said, they are single skilled, right, in one type of activity. It does require a change on our side to understand that and use it for the corporate's benefit. And typically, the 2 candidates that we have today in our campus are excellent performers, by the way. One is sharp with numbers, the other one is sharp with another skill that she has. But it requires a change in us as corporate. We need to be geared to support them. It's not that you should look at them with empathy. You should look at them with that they have a skill that we do not have, and that's why they are working in the corporate world. So it will take time, it will take a lot of effort, but I think the right steps have already been done. And as a corporate, we are committed to the PWD candidates that we have all across the world, and the numbers significantly keep on increasing. And so we have sort of invested time and effort into training our managers into working with differently abled people, and that's how I think. So it's a slow start, but the start has eventually happened, and I think you will only see it getting better and better in the years to come.
Thank you. So considering that time limit, we wouldn't able to make any other questions. I actually thank you and the other panel members as well as the audience to be part of this the discussion. Once again, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your wonderful session. It was great listening to the future jobs. Just a minute, sir. Before winding up this session, we would like to give a token of appreciation. So I invite Mr. Sreekumar, sir, to Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ms. Smitha Kumaran, Mr. Richard Antony, and Mr. Varughese, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.